Hello and welcome to Let's Drone Out. Tonight, you're joined by everyone's favourite CurryKitten.
Hello.
And myself, brightontillifly. How you doing, Curry?
I'm okay. We seem to be having problems. Stephen was here, and then his camera didn't work, and now nothing works at all. And, well, you had problems, but now you're working.
Yeah, it seems that if you boot up and instantly start the session, then other stuff boots up and seems to hijack your camera, and then it goes, other things are using your camera, and then doesn't let your camera work at all.
You mean you shut your PC down?
Yeah.
Wow, that's weird and dangerous.
I have to, man. I sleep in the same room as it, so.
Nice and warm in the winter, though.
Oh God. Yeah. So. Yeah, it's horrible, and yeah, sometimes it just like randomly comes on, and then if I've forgotten to turn it off, and then because of the RGBs, it lights the room up completely. Even though they're all set to what I like to call Mako green, or Mako as they pronounce it now, apparently.
Yeah, both Mako and Chocobo instead of Chocobo, which I always said.
I know.
Weird.
It's wrong.
We didn't seem to have much of a theme today, but just chatting in the chat, some people were talking about things they have forgotten or mistakes made in the field, where Caroline managed to go out and forget to charge her battery in her goggles. I've managed to forget the cable that goes into my goggles and the battery after a 50-minute flight. And Magic Pencil last year went out to fly and forgot his drone.
This year, I've gone out and forgot my quad.
Were you a bit confused when you opened your backpack? It was like,
yeah,
where'd I put that?
I was only going to bring one, and it's the one that I can't strap to the back of it. Like, luckily enough, ever since I bought that bag that I can barely lift, like having everything all in there really helps, because you can there's different compartments and everything. Oh, at last, there's a wild Stephen.
Bloody hell.
The man with a moustache. Hello.
He's the man who just had to reinstall Chrome to get StreamYard to work. For no...
Tried turning it off and turning it on again.
Kept insisting I didn't have a bloody camera attached.
Yeah, I had that.
Ridiculous.
I've quit everything. I think it's Discord.
I got another camera out and everything, and it was just like, no, that's not a camera either. I'm like, there's definitely now 2 cameras attached to this computer. No, can't see a camera. Bloody hell.
I don't know what's happened. I'm sorry, listeners.
Wow, we had Linux fail, Windows fail, Mac OS.
I think it was
through
Chrome being weird. I don't know. Seemed not happy. It might be something to do with Discord, like you say, or Chrome.
Yeah. Like, don't get me wrong, I am an Apple fanboy. It just works. It doesn't try and fight you.
My work laptop would beg otherwise. Every time I reboot it, it's sat just there out of shot. Every time I install an update, it gets to 99% complete and then sits there. And I left it for 6 hours, and I have to hard power cycle it to complete every update. It's just been like that forever.
Sometimes you do get complete lemons with Macs. You get 1 or 2 that just
new. It's the new super dick swinging whatever model that they've got.
M3.
Yeah.
M4. Are we on M4 now, Curry?
I don't know.
I think it's M3 because my daughter recently threw a drink on her one, so I had to borrow a new one. I think that was an M3.
It's the sizable doorstop grade that they do.
Yeah. They are a bit. And also with company laptops that they have their own
garbage. Oh my god! Yeah, I've got like Cisco this, Arista that. There's all this
Team Viewer constantly running in the background to see what you're doing.
So much crap.
Oh right. Corporate stuff out the way. What have you gone to the field and forgotten, Stephen?
I haven't forgotten anything.
Forgot my goggle battery.
Uh-oh. Well, at least you won't be
Right.
short of batteries. I mean, you're at an air show, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Well, Jagger,
Probably trip
he
over
lent
them.
me one.
All right.
So.
Yeah.
So, Stephen, you've got a perfect record of never forgetting anything.
I do forget stuff, but I actually carry like duplicate
Multiple.
stuff. So I don't have more than one pair of analog, but I have a walk snell goggle and an analog goggle and a DJI goggle, and so I'll just fly the other one. And in terms of battery packs, I have a couple of those leads that go from like XT60 to barrel jack, and so I just grab any other lipo and use that if I need to. So that's my go-to. I keep like a couple of half-charged giant 2S lipos in my bag just in case.
Stephen is like a walking RAID 5 array. Anything breaks, he can just reconfigure himself.
If you have forgotten something, you're like, not again, not wasting that huge journey, not going to do that again. And then you just put it in your bag when you get back and like, right, now I've got 2 of the bloody things and I can't take them both out without noticing. So, yeah.
That's what Koel didn't understand about. He's like, you got like so much stuff, unnecessary shit in there. And I'm just like, when you've traveled fucking ages to go fly somewhere with people, and
I'll take 2 radios. I'll straight up like take 2 radios, take the big radio and also throw the T-Light in there just in case the big radio fucks up. And I'm like, screw it, I'm going to fly anyway. Just take the little toy radio out. It's good enough. At least I'll fly.
I salute you, sir.
This is amazing. It's like me that's like, oh, I think I can do it all in this one radio, and then I take the only radio out without trims, and I try and fly this plane which isn't on like a flight control or anything. I was like, oh no, I can't trim it. It keeps going to the left.
How do you have a radio without trims? My T-Light has trims, and that's the size of a PS5 controller.
I've got I forgot what it's called now. It's in the cupboard, hidden away. It's something by.
You never bloody use it now. No bloody trims in it.
No, I mean it would be. There is a way of doing the trims. You have to hold in something and do something to make it work. But yeah, I took that one thinking, yeah, this is fine because it works on FreeSky and ERS, and that's what I was flying. And I forgot I had no trims.
Oopsie.
Oh, this plane needs trimming, but I can't trim it.
Jack's got my little Beta FPV radio with the OLED, and that's got a weird setup, hasn't it, Jack? Where you've got like the same D-pad that's used both for the page and forward and back, and for trims, and you like toggle between. You can either use the menus or you can use trims, but not both at the same time.
I've never figured that out, and also I've lent it to my friend Ash, and he's been using it with the simulator.
Yeah, it's great for sim stuff.
Yeah, so because he's expressed some sort of interest in like the RC hobby. He's like, oh, I really want a plane to take pictures.
It's the perfect controller to sit on a sofa and play a simulator or some dumb game. It needs slightly better than the gamepad controls.
Yeah,
and it's appreciably better than a gamepad, but it's not a whole heap better.
And like House FPV, like the little remote dongle thing that he gave me, it just lives with that, you know. And like the worst thing about that controller is the back cover for the miniature module bay. Some clips have given up, and it has to be held on with tape.
Yeah, I mean,
apart from that,
about Beta FPV, people don't shout about their outstanding robustness. I mean, they get it done for the most part, but it's not going to be something you hand to your grandkids, is it?
Yeah, I love it. I love that controller. I'm shocked. I'm like, I use it more than my T16S. I use my Boxer, and then I use that, and then my Tyrannus. Well, everyone knows the nightmare I had with that. What do you want to hear about? I've sustained an injury.
Oh yeah.
Or what was the injury?
I've got the weirdest problem with a flight controller.
That's like every other week, Jack. You're like a one-man destruction testing, error fuzzing flight controller system.
So I
Jack
bought the.
Lister stuff is so long. You know, we've got the I flew down a sewer and flicked
mate.
shit all over
He
myself.
sent me a
in the
message
quad.
this week saying, "Oh, what's the latest firmware I can use for an F3?" And I'm just like, just don't. Like, there's no plausible excuse. I don't care what you're going to say about kind of
The excuse
sentimental
is,
value.
I have an
or-
F3 here. What
I'm
can
in
I
a
put it in?
racing league that forces me at gunpoint to use an F3, or they chop off my pinky finger. I mean, what have you got? Why the F3?
No, that was Dom. I was doing pro bono work, Dom Robinson, and I'm out of flight controllers. I've got tons of ESCs. I've got cameras. I've got
Audience,
VTXs.
help
I
Jack
just
out.
don't have any flight controllers, and this flight controller now just constantly goes in. This is my bench one that I use like to test ESCs, and I just repin the plug and plug it in and everything. And this now just you plug it in, it goes to boot mode. I thought it was the boot button. I've tore that off. It's not the boot button, and it just constantly goes into DFU mode. I don't understand why. What leg do I have to lift on an F405 processor to stop that happening?
I don't know, mate. Are you sure there's not some like corrosion around the boot button, given that you screwed with the boot button?
No, I tore it off. It's completely clean. It's weird.
Have you
This
tried
is
putting
my
it in the bin?
no.
Yeah, I know. It's
The
not a great
trouble
answer
is,
when you don't have loads of money.
yeah.
Hmm.
I went. The thing is, if I had a flight controller for Dom, I would have put it in there, and I just don't. I don't have any. I don't. I've got a CC3D. I've got an SPF3.
You're all
I've
30
got
by 30 as well, aren't you?
yeah, and I just don't. I even have a spare 4-in-1 BRLES ESC that I could have put in there, but he's on red bottoms. He's on DYS 20 amp ESCs singles, and he's on
Just if
and
the guy's
he's
got a bob,
an
just
SPF
tell him to
3.
like wire you 50 quid and get me a new flight controller. Like,
Yeah,
it's going to be the amount of labor you'll put in trying to
he,
Frankenstein it, you know.
he's like Tony though. Do you know what I mean? They just they've fallen
Hey,
out
hang
the
on now. There's
hobby.
no need for that language.
Yeah, I know. But and I just don't think he'll spend any money on it. I mean, he hasn't bought any batteries, so he's
Well,
just
how's he
one
going
of
to
these
bloody
people.
fly it then? What's he going to do? Throw it down the stairs?
Yeah, exactly. You just kind of. I gave him an old Tyrannus that I repaired for his 50th birthday, and it plays his theme song because he's one of the Thursday night DJs.
All right.
So when you switch it on, and I thought, well, I had a spare XS SR, and obviously he's limited on. He's only got 2 UARTs.
If you did fix it up for him, would he even fly it?
Well, I mean, I worked on it last time, and I think he flew it once, and then I gave him the Tyrannus, and I was like, I can put in a new flight controller.
I mean, I used to say for like my day job, like you can lead a horse to water, but sometimes you turn around and see its bloated corpse floating down the river. You know,
Yeah,
doesn't always work out the way you hope.
yeah. So
Weirdly, that's something I haven't got. Flight controllers, ESCs, not got many. I got a box full of cameras and VTXs. But whenever I need to put something new in this, I haven't got one.
yeah.
I managed to break FCs.
I've got odd motors, like
10703 and 12208.
Yeah, stuff like that. Yeah, and like I've got 3 of the 6S Eco Motor V1s instead of the Eco 2s. But yeah, these Eco 2s I bought, and the lock nuts, the nylon, for some reason worked its way all through the nut, and I couldn't get them off, and I have ripped several layers of skin off trying to get it off. In the end, I had to
Which part of the lock
blowtorch.
nut? Just the regular lock nut on the top.
Yeah. The nylon on the top worked its way
so far through the thread.
Down. Yeah, and it just completely.
You must have like hulked out on those prop nuts.
I do use the weird drill thing, but it's not Impact.
Wow, it's
But
impressive.
yeah,
I
it
hadn't heard of
just
that.
yeah, I've never experienced it in all my years of droning.
Caroline
Yeah.
Tyler's been maidening some new frames. The Mario 5 Dead Cat. Is that a new one? I think it's probably a second revision by now, isn't it?
The
5
Mario
inch.
5's been around a while. I don't know about the Dead Cat version.
I think they released a new version of it. I thought it's probably an F4 of it, 04 revision. Still on the F405, man. That thing just keeps on trucking, doesn't it? They sold so many of those speedy BF405 stats. I remember seeing the because they're stats from Betaflight. From every time it's flashed, it like builds a firmware version and it logs what it's built, so you can see if it's screwed up or not. And the stats from the F4s, man, they're just F405 speedy B stacks just everywhere. So many of those things out there. Yeah, it's the 04 variant, she says. Nice. Well, congratulations with your 04 goodness. I hope you're enjoying all those lush blades of grass.
I know. That's the other thing. I have to make sure that they still have the OSD chip on there for me.
I've got a fancy Pi. That's what I've been up to instead of anything else.
Ooh,
A Pi with an NVMe hole in it.
nice.
And also, you may notice a voltage converter, because this is a power over Ethernet enabled Pi. So it just needs
PoE, baby.
Just needs that one hole, and then it powers up the whole kit and caboodle. Obviously, no NVMe drive in there yet, because you've got to do a switcheroo, boot it off micro SD, and tell it, by the way, you should boot off NVMe now, and then hope that it works.
I've never figured that out.
I'm going to engage hard mode and try and do it with a serial console, because I do not have a micro HDMI cable. I thought I did, but maybe it's too micro and it's got lost. I don't know. Ain't got one though.
Oh dear.
Oh dear. So another reason to dig out tiny FTDI.
3 days trying to program this to work with Spotify, which is this awful. It's not awful. It's just like, because it's on this device, it's like I can't debug this thing, and it's like, yeah, I need to send a post via HTTPS, and I can't work out why it keeps saying denied, until I finally realized when I do it on whatever the command line is, that works, but that's not using a certificate, so hence the certificate's probably failing. So let's do it insecure, and then it worked. But then I find out that in order to get user details, it then has to divert you to another screen and say log on here, and then give me the token back. So it's a bit pointless, because it's like it can't be self-contained. To look for a different project.
Yeah. So have you dead-ended that project then, and you need to do something else?
Yep. It never got onto the screen. The screen stays completely blank while I looked at like these tokens being sent around. Say, hey, I can do a request now.
So it was going to be like a now playing display or something. Was it going to be this user's now playing this song, or a top 10?
Well, yeah, I could do it so I could choose songs and playlists and stuff like that, but without, because you get this first authentication token by having like the secret stuff that you get from the developer site, and that lets you get like songs and artists and stuff. But as soon as you start saying I want the current users stuff and what they're playing right now, it's like, oh, that you haven't authenticated for that yet. Tell them to go over to this web browser and log in. It's like, well, that's pointless. I'll do something else. Shame.
Yeah. Yes, it does sound like you've hit the wall there.
Yeah. And slightly more about getting post operations using HTTPS stuff.
Does it have Bluetooth? You might be able to put Doom on it.
You could probably run Doom. I was thinking about running some sort of emulator on it, but yeah, I have to go through some Git projects and see what's useful that I can adapt.
The reason I say it might be able to run Doom is because there's like a 99.9% chance that someone's already ported Doom to it, and you could just yoink their code and use it.
Yeah, there is that. That was the
Is
idea.
there a
But, like,
database of Doom running?
oh, you just look for things like Doom ESP32. There's probably like a bunch.
That's
But they're
mental.
probably using like the ESPIF framework or something that I haven't looked at yet.
How does it even connect to the screen? Because it's like a proper high-res screen, isn't it? It's not like some serial connected low-res.
It's 800 by 400, but it uses SPI just like you
Really?
would in a regular screen.
That must be kind of limited on the update rate then, I guess.
I've seen other people running like NES emulators and stuff on ESP32 SPI attached screens. When I looked at the demo they put on using this LVL graphics library, it wasn't brilliantly fast, but it had the whole touch interface and things working.
Sweet. So it's a touch screen as well.
Yeah.
Wow. That sounds like the whole lot of programming potential. I see you coding for like 12 hours to make a 20-minute video and then editing for another 20 hours.
Yeah, look, it was already like 3 days of getting lost in this thing because there's like several different libraries that are supposed to do this thing, and I was using like this, like some open site that lets you send post stuff to, and that was working. As soon as I go to Spotify and send this post request and do all these, I got all my secret files in the thing, and I'm using this certificate and stuff. It's just like, no, not working. Yeah, and it was curl I was using on the command line, and that always worked. It only twigged on me ages into it that I wasn't using the certificate when I was doing curl. So I just said, oh, let's use a header to say turn off certificate verification, and it's like, oh yeah, that works now. Brilliant.
Right.
But that's time wasted.
Yep. Yeah, that's life. I've been trying to pick apart some canonical code to build OpenStack at work, and it's just like a bit of a dumpster fire. Not great. I don't know how deep to go on this one, but if you know Ubuntu as a company, you know that they do some desktop Linux stuff, and they're quite nice. They've got some decent kind of user-friendly systems, but they have this habit of if they come across some concept, they have to write their own version of it, and yeah, they do this a lot to the detriment of the overall experience, unfortunately, which is a bit challenging.
Coming back slightly to drones, anybody flying this week? We've only got a day left.
No, busy.
I have a new toy to fly.
Flying tomorrow.
Ah.
What are you flying, Jack?
I don't know. I think we're doing the sort of.
I lost you.
Yeah.
Oh,
totally
hello.
lost you. Stand up slightly.
I fooled it. There I am.
Yeah, I'm going out with Dan.
Hide.
We've been testing lithium ions. That's what we're doing tomorrow.
Oh yeah.
So we're doing that large, like 7-inch.
You flying the spicy
4S 8P. No, 4S 4P. Like two batteries in parallel. I don't know how to work that out. But yeah, we're gonna do some testing and see about some current draw. I might just bring the Hobby King current tester to be like, yeah, this isn't gonna work. Hey Shady, how you doing, buddy? You alright? I ain't seen you for a while. Yeah, I've just been a bit ill, really. I've had like a bit of a summer cold. So I'm still kind of getting over that.
I have like sold my soul, and I'm now.
Oh
DJI
my god, traitor!
fanboy.
Yeah, you did say it was your birthday, wasn't it? Isn't that a birthday gift?
It's gone to the Death Star. Come back. Here I am.
Tell everyone.
It got
tell
confused.
them what you got.
This is a DJI Avata 2. It's going to be my camper van quad. I was looking for something that was portable without taking lots of stuff about, and I was going to take my Walks Now Go Fly because that did quite well, but then it gets into like big 4S battery for the goggles with screwy-in antennas, and then different batteries for running it, and then a battery charger and stuff like that. And then we had this thing that just the batteries plug in USB, the goggles plug in USB, the controller plugs in USB, and you put it in a backpack and take it around. So that's it. I've gone to the dark side and I've stayed there, suckling at the teat of DJI.
Yeah, but you said this, so.
Hmm?
Well, I imagine they are quite fun. It's just so long as you don't mind keeping up, I guess, every now and then, every couple of years.
The idea would be not to. Like I did have a I still have my DJI Mavic Air, the original one, which is like I still can't justify upgrading it, mostly because I don't do that much with it. It's like, you want something cinematic? Okay, we'll fly there, and it can film in 4K. Yes, I did, Andy. And it's perfectly adequate. It doesn't fly for as long or as far as the other ones, and doesn't have like a nice screen built into it. And I have to use my old phone to use it because DJI, the app that works with it, crashes on the latest version of iOS, which I've told DJI, and they're like, yeah, we'll have to look at that. They're not going to look at that. It's like, just upgrade your quad. That's the way to do it.
Yeah. Have you tried buying a new one? We hear it's really good for our shareholders.
Yeah. And most importantly, I talked to NJ about how this flew. And of course, NJ is a far better pilot than me, and he's having fun with it still. So it's like, well, that's a pretty good seal.
I bet you will fly it constantly in sport mode like an FPV mini quad anyway. I bet it'll be very...
Sport mode is still stabilized. It's manual mode you need.
Yeah. I bet it won't take long. After a couple of flights, you will just be in full manual mode.
But at least you've got the OF button when you can just be like, no, that was too much. Help me. There we are. Back again.
There's this pause button you can press where it just sits there. I've got that because it comes with that weird motion controller, so I'll have to try that out just to see what it's like.
Very intuitive. The dildo is, like, unbelievably good. Is it the Avada 2 as well? Have you got like the head tracky kind of turn? Yeah, mate, you will have no problem whatsoever.
OF button, there's a different button on my computer.
Yeah. The only fans, probably.
Yep.
I know.
So that is my day tomorrow. I've got 3 batteries. I'm going to have a good old go at the field and see what it can do, and then figure out how to change various rates and stuff.
Well, report back, and I hope you get sufficient videos of you attempting to freestyle it and then getting locked out at like 90-degree angles when you can't go any further.
We shall see. Then again, most of my fun flying that I like to do is like, I like cruising along a field, sort of nice and low, just like, oh, this grass is nice. It's just, I'll go back and do that again. Less flippy flappy stuff, really. More.
Don't feel the need to just pop up and do like a crazy 720 and then just cruise along slowly afterwards.
That's the way. Nice cruisy.
Have you been out flying much, Stephen?
Too busy, mate. If I could wave the camera around, this would become more obvious. But yeah, I've been testing a lot of Ethernet switches and things. My desk is currently covered in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
I've still got a finished 3D printer.
9 Ethernet switches on the desk.
Oh,
probably slightly too many Ethernet switches.
That's about 8 Ethernet switches more than many people would ever need.
Yeah, I'd arguably say it's too many. I was trying to figure out why one wasn't working, and so I got like a cheap identical model on eBay, and then realized I actually had another one that was quite similar to it. So I just fired them both up and left them running on my desk. So my desk is resplendent with way too much fan noise right now. I'm surprised. Can you hear any fan noise, by the way?
Man, no, the echo cancellation is pretty good.
Magic. Absolutely magic.
Yeah, you're crystal, mate. You sound great.
It's like a data center over here.
Is it? Oh wow.
I was wondering if anyone would pick up on it, but yeah, it's magic.
No, we haven't said anything. Hey, Curry, I see that your Ender 3 like Pro or what? It's become a bit of a shelf.
Yes, a little bit. This is the thing. My I don't know if you can, let's see how far I can turn my camera. No, that's the wrong way. Look over there. Oh, there's a big pile of shit there. It's about as tall as me. See all those boxes?
Mm.
That is stuff that's working on or needs to go somewhere else. There's a lot of rubbish here.
Yeah. I think I need to like buy someone's like I'm getting out the hobby. There's some random crap left in order for these like pro bono sort of odd parts. I think I've now totally aged out. What you got? A little camera.
I got this little gimbal, and this was another like. Look at it, having a look around.
Ooh.
Isn't that fun? Sort of slightly inspired by Andy RC's Fun Flying. This was a good cock up, this one, because I plugged it in because it's got like this config software, and like nothing worked. And I'm going to this. All right, yeah, I'm going to turn you off. Going to this company in China. I was like, oh, this doesn't work. When I go into your config software, it sees my USB, and of course it's Windows only, so I'm running this in a VM. And it's like, oh, it doesn't read. And he's like, oh, do this, do this, do this. It's like, well, that doesn't work. I'll send you a video. And I sent him a video of like it not working. And he's like, send me a video of plugging the cable in. I was like, really? Okay.
I don't believe you know how plugs work.
Yeah. What I found out from that is there is someone embiggened me. There's a cable here. Well, there's a port here where I was plugged into. But he says that's the wrong port. And unbeknownst to me, there was this port on the side here, which has the exact same pins as that one. And
what could go wrong? That's why everyone makes all these ports completely identical, even when they've got totally different purposes. That's what it's called user design. You're trying to, keep the user on their toes, keep them mentally alert as they decline over time. Just give them these stupid puzzles to solve, like 3 holes. One of them is all wired at 40 volts. The other one is 3.3 volt TTL communication and no diagram. And just be like, go on, have a go. Have a go. Oh, you did it wrong. You burnt it. Oh, stupid user.
Now, I'll get to Robert's question, but Caroline says that's an analog port according to Andrew Newton. Yes, it is, Andy. And it is. And I said to them, oh, how can I plug an analog camera into it? Because what happens is it's got this, if I'll show you, it's got this MIPI cable here. And if you want to change that, each part of it, like there's a MIPI cable that goes in there from the camera. And then instead of being one cable that goes all the way through, there's these tiny MIPI cables that go into different ports. And as you uncover the camera, there's about like 4 different MIPI cables that go port to port until it comes to the outside. So I said to them, how do I plug an analog camera in then? Because all that cable's going through. And they're like, you can't. I was like, well, why is there an analog input here? There's literally like voltage, ground, and composite is supposed to be. But they've gone on a show and they haven't told me yet, which is interesting.
Are you sure it's not analog for controlling the gimbal rather than from the camera?
Yeah, because the gimbal control is
the big
here.
long one.
So I've got it plugged in to, basically I've got my receiver coming into the normal thing on a flight controller, and I've basically taken that RX from the CRSF and gone into there, so it can run on CRSF S-Bus, or it's got like 4 wires to run on PWM if you want to, which are completely separate from that other port. So it's slightly confusing.
Apologies, I was just opening an FTDI adapter.
Oh. Robert Ortlep says, I was at work when I watched your helicopter video, so I got to, and I didn't see if it was brushless or not. It says it's brushless, but you can hear there's gearing in there, as you would probably hear from the noises. So it's not like a direct drive.
The best of both worlds.
But it says it's brushless, so we can believe in there. But it's like Yeah, there's lots of like there's whirring noises on that one.
What was the double beep? Was that because you weren't high enough for the inverted?
I don't know.
bit?
Sometimes there was a single beep.
Smoke one and then try.
Sometimes there was a double beep, and I couldn't work out why.
It just
So it
really
obviously
didn't
didn't work.
like it held its position that well. But then after a while, there was clear that there was some attempt. But I'm
There was
guessing
some
it
attempt.
was so windy.
It was windy, and of course, it's only on that optical flow stuff, and on grass that can be a bit dodgy. So it's like it's better than nothing at all, but it's not like
How much are they asking?
like a proper position hold.
What kind of price are they asking for it? Because it really depends on how much it costs.
Like I
it's good
forgot. It's
value.
like $120.
It looked like you
It's
had fun.
Not expensive.
Yeah,
It was fun.
exactly right.
I haven't. It's weird. Sometimes I get these little toy things which are supposed to be like, oh, this is a complete waste of time. It's not going to work. And I had enormous fun with this little 1S plane that just flew around brilliantly. And you know, these things that are slightly easier to fly become a little bit more fun in line of sight. Normally, if I'm on like a proper plane line of sight, I'm worried that I'm going to crash it because I'm not the best line of sight pilot and I don't enjoy it. I find it stressful. But on these little toy things that are sort of like, oh, don't worry, we've got gyros and we'll keep you stable. They're a lot more fun, and they got so little kinetic energy when they crash. They just sort of bounce off the grass and pick and throw them again.
Helicopters are famous for not bouncing. Does that solve this problem?
I crashed it once. I think I caught the top of the rotor on the grass and it went in, and it was fine. I've got this XK, like a proper like 3D helicopter, which I can't fly 3D, but I've crashed that like 20, 30 times, but over grass, and it hasn't done anything. It's just like sometimes the landing gear pops off and you pop it back on and stuff like that. But
that sounds perfect, because all I've seen of helis are like the mangled kind of, like someone's thrown a box of wristwatches against the floor and you're just like, no, that's not going to get back together.
Yeah, once you get up to like the 450 size, it's like it hits it with so much force, and like the ground's not going to move out of the way, so the helicopters are just
pancakes
everywhere.
Andy RC said we all started with toys. For me, H107D and Spyhawk plane, Hubsan H107D, which coincidentally, because I was watching Andy's channel, that's what I started with as well. I crashed that Spyhawk plane so many times. The H107D coped with crashes a lot better. The Spyhawk plane, not so much.
I had this little coaxial helicopter that my wife bought me one year, which was pretty expensive for the time. You can get much better for cheaps now. And I thought, like, it was about this big, and I thought this is like a cool toy. And I remember in the lounge starting it up and the rotor spinning and going faster and faster and faster and faster. I'm like, we're all sort of just walking backwards as this thing's spinning up, and it's like, okay, this is scary. Might have to take this outside.
Yep.
I
start looking around the room and thinking, is there any
bits.
ceramics here? Oh dear.
That I had to like fix like ball joints and all sorts of things like pinged out, but you could get parts for it. Quite a good learning experience.
Yeah, Magical Pencils in the chat somewhere, and he bought like a little He-Wing, like little tiny Spitfire, and it's like 1S, and he loved that as well. I think was it He-Wing? I'm not too sure, but there's something to be said, because I even look back at the old Hubsan days of like flying that line of sight and stuff, and I just think, you know, ooh.
What are these from? What's that from? Tailspin? What's that from?
Is that from one of those AR drones?
No.
That used to be in the great big styrofoam bit.
No, it's from something else, and I'm just trying to remember where I put it. Ah! Whew, that was a close call.
Oh, is that one of the Hubsan FPV things?
Yeah, well, it's not actually an FPV thing. It is a drone thing, however. This is it's probably the worst drone you've seen in quite a while. This is not the Soma X5, but its baby brother, the X3. And I found it in the park. No one around, and it just stuck itself somewhere. And evidently someone had lost track of it and wandered off. And so I picked it up, found out it was still working, but I didn't have a controller. So inside it now, it's now running beta flight.
Oh, hilarious. And that's brushed, is it?
That is brushed and gears. It's got gears on there as well. Like
Oh,
We
what
want
a
those whirring
nug.
noises.
yeah. LOS brushed with gears, running beta flight on a full-blown FC because reasons.
Andy RC says it looks like a butt plug.
It's pretty awful.
I've got weird things. I realised I've got a quad here. Over
Andy
here,
implying he took the props off to use it for its secondary purpose. Is this what he's trying to say?
if you see here, this is a fan. And the reason it's that high is because I forgot this was here, but underneath it. Oh, I'm over here, camera. I have this Rodeo 110 quad from, oh God, it's lost me again. I'm down here.
A
I am.
brushed 380. Caroline Tyler's talking about building something with a brushed 380 motor. You only see those in cheap RC cars now. Wow. Andy RC has no comment about a secondary use case.
I bet.
Guilty as charged.
I'll
Wow.
I'll let Jack have it next time you meet up with him, Andy. Let's see.
Well, I'll probably buy lube for it as well when I hand it over to him. Fun.
I mean, it did fly. You needed to be about like 20 meters up before you could do anything exciting, but it did fly.
May office success. How you doing?
That was like my first beta flight, well, it was clean flight drone that I had on 3S and my 50-30 gem band drops. You have to be like at least 50 meters if you want to do a roll, because you have to full throttle rescue it all the way it's dropping down.
And put up with the kind of, that as well, like the kind of
flutter oscillation kind of, yeah.
It was quite smooth just flying it regularly, but that's because the D was tuned up so high. It's also like a little bit drunk because it's like steer. Okay, we'll get there. There's a little bit of lag on it. It's like,
all right, man, stop harshing my buzz. I'm coming down.
we were going to have a meetup of old things, weren't we? Bring your oldest, crappiest stuff.
That's all good.
And make people fly them.
Yeah, I think it would be good. That's kind of the fun side, isn't it? I think, we're not going back far enough by just talking about brushless motors and carbon fiber frames. It's got to be like, well, what was the toy quad that you flew and you thought, oh my God, this is the best thing ever. And then a short, like 18 months later, you look back at it and went, what the hell is that? And now you're like 10 years on from that and you're thinking, where did that toy quad go? And it's in a box somewhere around the house. I should have bought like 3 of them off to get them stuck up trees and then forgot about it.
I've still got a few of my brushed FPV quads, which sound crap, but indoor-wise, I remember them as being really controllable and perfect for like when you go around exploring a house, you can just like hover nicely. And sometimes with these like latest quads, it's like, okay, set throttle limit to 40. No, it's still too much. Like I can't put the camera down enough. I might go back and refly them and just see if is it rose tinted glasses or do these still have a place for flying around the house very slowly?
How you doing?
I mean, I've got some footage that I reviewed from my early H107D days, the Hubsan, which is like a brushed FPV quad with, I think it had 50mm props on, 50mm bi blades, and it could like barely go up in the air. It, like, just about managed to stay in a hover. You couldn't really shoot up. And the footage from that was just comedy. At the time, I was so amazed that I could see through a camera that was flying. I didn't really question it. But looking back, it's like all like neon green and purple, and there's like constant frame roll. The camera, the field of view's like, you know, like 6 inches wide. I have no idea where I'm going at all.
Have you seen everyone's turning their brushed whoops into like little drift, like buggy go-kart things?
Oh yeah,
It's like, 3D printing. Yeah, all good.
I had one of those. What was it? Everybody, when they first trying to do the tiny whoop, they were using this one tiny quad from Horizon, and I forgot what it was, but I bought one of them because it runs off the Inductrix. That's right, and I've still got that, I think, somewhere in a cupboard. Completely useless now, because as soon as you put the camera on it, it just about gets in the air. So it's like 80% throttle just going along if you can.
I think that one's in the loft, so I can't get it. But yeah, I've got one of those, and they sold like an aftermarket canopy with a VTX with a tiny little cloverleaf antenna that you had to have. It came with a separate battery for the VTX. They're like, if you're being daring, you can kind of solder this onto the board and actually have maybe just about enough to do slightly more than a hover. It was it's comedy.
Yeah, this is the little whoop like drift go-kart thing. So yeah, controlled drifts and stuff. It looks like great fun.
It's got actual honest to goodness wheels on. I thought you were talking back like a fan operated thing.
No. Yeah,
the video popped up in my feed on
been doing a newbie drone whoop car.
That does look like a lot of fun.
Yeah, I know. I wish I still had my brushless whoop now. I thought I threw it in the end.
So I guess with the gyro, you don't spin out as much, right? You can control the thrust of it.
Yeah, it's all good. It looks good. I'm just I gave one of my brushless whoops to Dom, and then my last one I chucked because I couldn't update it either. It was like some sort of weird newbie drone.
Tiny wheels. Wow, the wheel, everything's 3D printed, so I guess it's like super drifty.
Yeah.
Yeah, JGRC H36, Richard Warwick. That's what I've got. That was the cheap knockoff I got. That was not the it wasn't the Inductrix. It was like the super cheap one. Yeah, I've got one of those in a box in the loft, I think. Yeah. And
I've got a lot in the cupboard.
I've got a Beta FPV 7S, I think, the brushed one.
Yeah,
Emax FPV F1 car.
Definitely going to have to go in the wardrobe and pull some stuff out because it was I can't even remember the make of them now. But they had these brush whoops. They came in the boxes, and like the box was an integrated charger for your batteries. You just plug a USB in, and you can put your batteries in this charger thing.
I think I know it. Oh, the Emax Interceptor. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Oh, I got an Interceptor somewhere.
That was at the start of this recent trend for micro cars, wasn't it? Slightly bigger than the ones you've been racing, Curry. It's more like kind of 1/30th instead of 1/76, I guess, somewhere around there.
Oh, that'd be much bigger, yeah.
Still want 100 quid for it. Oh no, okay. On the Buzzflyer site, it's down to 50 quid. Out of stock. Maybe they stopped making it then. Yeah, I mean, I have done some FPV stuff on cars. The trouble is with cars, you roll them so much that camera is taking a beating. And if it's anything other than a really tiny car, the weight of the car is enough to do some serious damage to the camera.
That's why you need a big car, and then you put it inside the chassis, the driver's position. Yeah. Which is what I thought about putting this on, but that's no good because that's got walk snail in, and my car is analog. I need to sort out what I'm going to put this gimbal on. I'd like to put it in something to see if it takes the shakes away quite nicely.
Yeah, I imagine the gimbals are perfect for bouncy cars. Like you can actually go at a decent clip across a field without feeling like you're going to heave. That'd be quite something.
That's the hope.
Fingers crossed. Sorry, I don't have my usual lighting on. Shall I confuse the editor by like cranking up the lights 3/4 of the way through the show?
So
I have a
you're
button
all on
for
a
that.
dark theme.
Boom, boom, boom. Whoa, whoa.
Ooh.
I don't know. Frank's off doing Plains TV at the moment, so we didn't have much feedback on whether the markers actually helped. I don't know.
It's Marcus.
The markers for swearing. If you press B or V or something, I think it's B. It puts a timestamp.
Tits. Okay.
Yeah. Fuckity fuck. There you go.
Oh, you can only do them every 10 seconds. So you're technically, you've got a fuck limit in that case.
Yeah.
Fuck budget.
Sneak crew.
They have that in mind in Hollywood and TV, don't they? There's a swearing budget. They have to choose how to allocate their swears.
Yeah. Yeah, and a certain amount of blood as well.
There's a wonderful letter that was read out loud, which is from Matt Stone and Trey Parker to the Motion Picture Association of America, talking about the South Park movie.
That's the one read by Matt Berry, isn't it?
Read by Matt Berry, exactly. It's absolutely
glorious. Sex bots.
Absolutely glorious. So I'd recommend that you check that out. This is why we shouldn't be on Twitch. It's all just sex bots.
We only get them from Twitch. It's full of sex bots.
Horny gamers. All right. And that's probably as good a place as any to wind things up.
Yeah.
For the horny sex bots arrive en masse. Big sigh. It'll be better. It'll get better. Can't always be this bad.
Get better next week. Frank's back with some news,
Frank will
updates
be
on stuff.
Maybe I'll go and fly my professional SEMA X3. Rip some balls. This tiny little plastic quad. I'm sure it still flies. Only needs a 1S battery.
Well, that means we've all got a converted quad from something horrible onto Betaflight. Have you still got your Mavic that you built, Jack?
Didn't it eat itself?
No, it died. I was harvesting some parts for Koel, and it killed a F7 flight controller, and yeah, pissed me off. A little stray battery voltage wire brushed across stuff and smoked everything.
Ooh.
I think I've built two now. I have two rubbish quads made into terrible Betaflight quads.
It's the way.
We should race bad quads made into slightly better quads.
At least you've got like a slider you can crank up and be like, okay, we know you're mechanically crap, but just stop torturing yourself and wobbling so much.
I can ban that button. It's definitely torturing itself.
Yeah. Yep. Doesn't help that I think these propellers are slightly bent because they're like rubbish plastic. They don't like bend back. They just stay deformed.
Just flex.
Well, that was the funnest thing about the Mavic. When it did a roll, its props would bend and start hitting the frame.
Plastic gears on the motors. You know, you're looking at quality stuff when you've got plastic gears on the motors.
Stuff.
No worries. All right, that is all we've got time for. We have been supported and loved by our lovely patrons. Thanks to everyone who tuned in and joined us. Thank you. It was good. It was good turnout. Sorry about the late start. Me and Stephen had some right old gremlins. And yeah, we couldn't do it without Patreons. If you enjoy the show that's like edited and all cleaned up and has all the swear words removed, if you're an enjoyer of that.
If you know any guests as well, we haven't had a lot of guests because we just couldn't think of people to talk to. If you know people to talk to, we would love to have some more people on. So please reach out, let them know that you're interested, and we'll have a chat with them. That'll be awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, or anything that's good. Don't forget, we got a Discord. Let us know, at us, harass us on Discord. You're more than
At
welcome.
Jack and harass Jack on Discord.
Yep. Yeah, I know. I harass Stephen and get accused
Stephen disables his notifications.
of medieval fairs of legacy stuff. That did make me laugh.
The medieval fair, yeah.
I know. Oh, that did make me laugh. Yeah. Thank you. You've been joined by everyone's favourite CurryKitten.
Goodbye.
Man with the moustache, Stephen.
Cheerio, everyone.
And I've been Bright Until I Fly. You've been listening to Let's Drone Out. Thank you very much and good night.
Bye.
Bye, Curry.
Bye.